Hello and welcome to review 3 for book reviews. But today is for 13 Reasons Why. It has a show based off the book. But yeah, see, I already made a video for this book, but it was kind of long and rambly, so we're redoing it. And also made sticky notes this time for what I wanted to say, so it's not long and rambly. But this book does follow a girl with suicidal thoughts and ideations, so if that is some sort of trigger or issue, please do not watch any further. But 13 Reasons Why by Jay Osher. The title will be somewhere here. So the book basically follows Clay Jensen, our main character, getting this set of cassette tapes that has no return address. So he opens and starts listening to it and realizes that it's essentially a recorded suicide note from Hannah Baker, who killed herself. And she essentially starts off with, these are the 13 reasons why I killed myself, that led up to it. And if you're on these tapes, you're one of the reasons why. So Clay starts freaking out because he's like, I don't think I ever did anything that could have led her to want to kill herself, or I couldn't be part of that. So he's listening to it. She goes into these reasons, and he eventually figures out what his part says and why she did what she did and what led up to it. So that's essentially what the story is. And this book has a unique style of being written. So Clay is listening to these cassette tapes, right? And instead of him summarizing the cassette tapes and telling us what happened and reacting to those parts that he heard, instead of doing that, it's just Hannah Baker talking, the cassette tapes playing for most of the book, and little snippets of Clay Jensen reacting to what he heard. So one of the tapes was oh, this girl helped me figure out who this peeping Tom was and how she's not as perfect as can be, and XYZ and whatever else happened. And then him being well, I can see that because she does seem a little too perfect to be good and true. So it's just Hannah Baker telling her 13 reasons and the explanations for those reasons, and him just being okay, that makes sense, or that doesn't make sense, or how does this all end up being related in the end. So yeah, it's just main portion cassette tapes, little portion reaction, which I thought was an interesting way to do a story like this, because it's obviously about a girl with suicidal thoughts. And usually if it was to be like this, it wouldn't be written from a perspective of someone else finding out why this other person killed themselves, but the person that killed themselves, it would be from the person that killed themselves, if that makes sense, from their perspective instead of an outside character. And so then that way you if you were through that person, you would get all their thoughts and feelings and why, and it adds up. But since this is from Clay Jensen's perspective, he's you don't get all of Hannah Baker's thoughts and reactions, but you do get his to why she wanted to, or from the reasons that she does give, if that makes any sense. So yeah, the way this was formatted was super unique and different, and I had never seen it before. So I really like that. But yeah, obviously this book is about suicide and a couple other things, and how our main character is dealing with the grief that comes from someone who he really liked and wanted to be closer with killing themselves and just not being there anymore. So it like also follows like his like thought process and like kind of his like emotions with like dealing with the fact that Hannah Baker is gone and just the grief that comes with that. So yeah, the message what that came with like that topic and like following his grief was, by the end of the book, he's very much like, okay, well, he learns like how like the rumors about Hannah Baker came to be, and like that they were essentially baseless for the most part, and how he shouldn't have let like the rumors that he had heard about like Hannah Baker like being the kind of girl that like goes around and stuff not like stop him from like still like talking to her and getting to know her, because he really thought she was like a cool person and stuff, and like really liked her, and he wanted to like be her friend. But because of like these rumors that he had heard and like what he thought his reputation would become of if he had talked to her, he like hold himself from going up to her. And at some one point they like were working together, and that was like his only way of like talking to her, because they were co-workers and it made sense to be around her and with her and talking to her. But he didn't talk to her during school. So that's just like, by the end of the book, he's like, okay, this isn't something that's good and healthy. I should really change how I interact with other people. So yeah, I thought that was a pretty good message, because a lot of people do certain stuff from rumors and stuff they heard. But he learns this by the end of the book, and then he goes up and talks to like another girl that also has that sort of like far removed kind of like loner reputation, and she comes up like in the book earlier, but he sees her at the end of the book, decides that like he's not gonna let what other people think stop him, and he like goes to like talk to her, and then the book cuts out. Like that's the end of the book. He goes and like says hey, and then starts a conversation, and then before we hear anything as readers, the book is done, which I had a gripe about, because if there was like a little bit more, like I feel like if it'd like been the message and then it cut out, or like the message, he like has this aha moment, goes to like talk to this girl, and then has a little bit more after, it would have really hit the nail on the head and gotten the message across even better than like just like having this aha moment, going to start the conversation, and then just cutting out. I feel like it would have been better if it was like before or after, but not like in the middle of it. But yeah, other than like the abrupt kind of ending, I think the message and like the what he realizes is really good. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you need help or you think something's not right with you, please tell somebody that can get you help, because it's not something to be taken lightly. So yeah, thank you. Please be safe, and yeah.